Hello, more than a year ago, when I yet was not world most famous Pavlo, as you know me now, I did a review of HiBy Crystal 6 earphones made by HiBy, as well as many other companies that create digital audio players and digital tonal converters. Of course, they wanted to showcase their ideas of sound at the maximum level. So they created Crystal 6. If you haven't seen that review, just check it out. But a lot of time passed since then, and HiBy released a lot of great models, including absolutely astonishing R6 Pro 2. If you haven't seen my or some other review, I don't know how it's possible. So check it out, it's really worth your attention. But HiBy decided to update their Crystal 6 model and actually make it more affordable and simultaneously improving their vision of sound. So it's still 6-driver balanced armature earphones, just pure balanced armatures, 3-way crossover, high durability resin shells, so everything we can expect from the modern in-ear monitors. Price is $350. Of course, I will add links to the description, and actually let's have a closer look. As you can see, box is pretty compact, but at the same time looks nice with this like some nebula like pattern. As usual, underneath the this outer wrap we have internal box. It's black cardboard with stylish, actually really stylish case inside. So let's go deeper and see what is we getting. And we getting 3 set of tips, like balanced, crisp and bass, depending on what you like. And huge thanks to HiBy for like labeling them correctly. So bassy for those who want more treble, and model in between. And also you'll get this replaceable jack for if you need Pentagon connection. And now let's look inside of this case. Really good material, really reminding carbon, but it's not carbon, it's some kind of fancy nylon, probably with company's logo. And inside, as you can easily expect, we getting 2 earpieces, another jack and the cable. So both earpieces are packed in a separate packages, so you can be totally sure that they won't be scratched by something on their way to you. So let me take them out. Actually, one is enough to see the design. In terms of design, it's absolutely classical model. We've seen that many times before. Of course, random faceplate pattern for each pair. Also nebula-like swirls and a bit of glitter. Actually looks pretty nice to me. And the rest is also classical ergonomic shape, fitting nicely into ears, at least into mine, with good fit, slightly above average sound isolation. Despite being vented, still they isolate external noises pretty well. Inner part is a bit transparent, so under the bright light you can try to pick what's going on inside. It's not absolutely transparent, but I can definitely see that there are a lot of drivers inside with separate sound tubes coming inside of this board. So classical multi-balanced armature design, and that's good, nothing super experimental, so I have high expectations for them. Here is the cable, so it's left earpiece, and then we need not the red connector, also standard classical 2-pin connectors sliding nicely on their place. Good cable, pretty soft, not super soft, but on the softer side of things, with low microphonic effect, pretty good in everyday usage. Of course, there are ear hooks, so the microphonic effect won't bother you. There is a splitter and a chin slider, but chin slider is like actually it holds pretty nicely, but it can slide a bit down sometimes, but not in often case. But also I think you won't have to use it oftenly because microphonic effect here is not an issue. And here is four wires braided down to this classical connector. So look at the groove and at the notch, combine them, then push, and you having pretty big but nice reliable jack, so you can connect them both balanced and single-ended. So in terms of all exterior parts, I think it's really good, really well done. And of course about the sound, without sound parts this review will be useless, and I burned them in for 48 hours, there were no changes in sound, but balanced armatures almost never changes the sound with burn-in. Probably there are some rare exceptions, but they are super rare. And why I actually doing that, I'm kidding. Anyway, so no changes with burn-in, but I really encourage you to experiment with tips, because they changing the sound not by much, but in a noticeable way. So it's like of a bit of fine-tuning to your likes and tastes. And in general, it's like, you know, probably that type of representation you can expect from pure balanced armature. There is no attempt to create some kind of fun sound or to exaggerate something to highlight. No, instead they are focused on purity, clarity, and actually I can't say neutrality because they are not monitoring neutral, but they are focused on the micro contrast, they are focused on highlighting small and tiny nuances and details. So if you like such type of representation, it would be a really great choice. I do like this, so for me it's really interesting model. Anyway, bass go deep, maybe not to the maximum depths, but still deeper layers of bass are present. There is a slight accent on the low frequencies, but definitely not like to be the to make them bassy or bass heady. But at the same time, to my ears, they have enough weight and they have enough punch. I've seen some reviews saying that they are lightweight, but I can't agree here. They are not lightweight, they are just focused more on the speed, more on the texture, more on the impact that on the weight. Because balanced armatures are fast and bass here is also fast, but it's not dry fast. You still getting nice weight. You're not getting like overwhelming amount of bass weight, especially for example with electronic music. Some tracks are require that, but at the same time I listen to The Prodigy, I listen to The Antwoord, what else I have, Glitch Mob, and many other pop and electronic music genres. For me it's enough of weight. Maybe it could be a bit more, but I like that rumble here is present. It's not overwhelming, but it's still palpable, you can feel it. But still, keep your expectations correct. They are not created like hybrid models with that, like, I don't know, 12, 14, 15 millimeter dynamic drivers that pump tons of air. But instead you're getting like superb saturation with nuances. And here is the first example. It's Amber Rubarth, and the pretty popular track for bass evaluation, Tundra. And it starts with hand tapping on probably it's cajon or maybe some other surface, and it gives you that sense of interesting, actually not sense, it gives interesting bass, it's not super deep, but at the same time it's saturated with nuances and details, and it requires really good technical performance, and these earphones deliver it with all small aspects. And the second one, it's actually closer to electronic music. It's Caravan Palace, Dragon's album from the time where electro swing was popular. And the Caravan Palace was on top of that popularity, and this track has nice bass line, but at the same time it has a lot of different samples, effects and instruments. So they didn't boost bass to make everything like super bass saturated, but at the same time bass builds a solid foundation for this track, but not trying to get forward. And these earphones delivers nice amount of weight and impact to make bass line realistic to me. Also, of course, bass is well controlled, it stays at place, and also these earphones are pretty good in terms of coherence, so it's hard to spot that moments of driver frequency band transitions. Mid frequencies are like I like to use term well-tuned dynamic drivers, but here you'll get good tuned balanced armatures, detailed with lot of small nuances, with good amount of that tiny sounds of vocal crispness or weight when it's necessary, but at the same time it doesn't sound dry and over analytical, but also it requires really good quality of records, because with poor records you'll get like all issues in that record. So lacking stage, I don't know, improper weight balance, lacking emotions, you'll get that all if it's present in the track. But with really well recorded tracks, it will give you like great stage, really three-dimensional, with great sense of space and positioning. It will give you nice sparkliness for the female vocal, including that breeze, including like sense of tongue moving in mouth and all that rich nuances. It will give you great realism for the properly recorded instruments. I don't know, like Baroque music, chamber music, classical music. But at the same time, with good records, it will be fun enough for the pop music, especially for the good pop music, you know, like Michael Jackson's pop music. And actually, I wanted to give you some example of something modern, but luckily I don't know modern pop music. I heard some names, but I rarely hear the songs. So it will be good with metal thanks to that refinement and detalization. You'll get all that guitars separated and nicely present. But still keep in mind that it's really not super unforgiving, but like moving towards that type of tuning. And let's go for examples. And actually, first one, it's metal, relatively brutal metal, especially at times when it was recorded. It's Dan Swanö. He has a lot of projects. He created a lot of projects during his career, and Moon Tower was just another attempt to play some overly melodic, probably it close to death metal, because it with growl, with some hard riffs, but still it's overly melodic, saturated with synthesizer, and this track is not an exception. It starts with interesting intro using synthesizer, and then it transitions to the more heavy part, but still you hear that melody that is performed by the keyboards. If you haven't heard this album, really recommend you listening. Like pretty enjoyable for those who like heavy music. And this earpieces delivers guitars and vocal in a really nice way. And another example, so accidentally it's also a metal, totally different, but it's Dream Theater, The Great Debate, and it's like, you know, it's Dream Theater, you getting 45 changes of tempo per minute, smooth transitions from I don't know 15/16 to like I don't know, 7/8, then back, and all the changes of rhythm and tempo and the stuff. And it also requires good performance because at that time Dream Theater cared a bit more about quality of records, and this track sounds nice with these earpieces. And the treble actually here it's pretty saturated, so it's energetic. There is a noticeable accent in the treble area, and if you're sensitive for the treble, it definitely can be an issue for you. So if you're sensitive, it's better to try them before buying and to audition them first. Or actually, if you really know that you are sensitive, you can just skip this model. From one hand, on like bright and sibilant tracks, you'll get pretty noticeable amount of sibilance, but on the properly recorded stuff, you'll get a lot of airiness, you'll get really good overtone saturation, both basic and more extended overtones. In the treble, attacks and decays are a bit on the faster side of things, so giving you that balanced armature sense of airy treble. But it's pretty enjoyable, especially with properly recorded tracks. You'll get even slightly above basic layering, which is really good for this price tier, meaning you'll get even more realism, but still critical for the quality of record, for the source, and so on. So, first example, it's Godspeed You Black Emperor, Rockets Fall on Rocket Falls. This track reminds me my favorite. If falls Wichita, so falls Wichita Falls, and I don't know, is this any reference or something like that, and it's long 20 plus minutes track, and there are a lot of stuff here, like some orchestral parts, something reminding sci-fi movie score, parts of heavy with heavy guitars and percussions, and actually they are a bit dirty recorded, but orchestral parts are really nice and saturated with treble, and actually a lot of things in this track requires good treble performance, and that layering that these earphones have to offer really impact the sound of this track in a really positive way. You're getting more sense of immersion here. And another example, it's Hans Zimmer live in Prague. Really good live performance, and main theme from the Rain Man. And all this album requires good performance of the treble to give you that sense of the live concert, and these earphones are pretty much succeed here. Speaking about the pairings, actually they are sensitive for the quality of the source, and they will change the sound based on what you connect them to. So something natural and focused on the micro contrast, like R6 third version, you'll get even more detailed and natural sound. If you'll get something warm, I don't know, like channeling designs, for example, you'll get great sense of warmth and a bit of added weight. Not too much, but it will be present. If you connect it to R6 Pro 2, real masterpiece, they will unveil their full potential and will sound probably the way HiBy wants them to sound. But to be honest, actually R6 Pro 2 is that good that it can even give you even better earphones. So for R6 Pro 2 to get its full potential, it's better to consider something from $1,000 price tire, more or less, of course. Speaking about the comparisons, don't remember a lot of models like first version of Duno SA6. They are a bit warmer and slightly more focused on the timber balance and timber naturalness. There are a lot of few models like FA9, for example. Not sure about the global price, but on the local market they are actually not close. It's still a difference, but like not totally different categories, and FA9 is slightly more refined and with a bit more weight on the base. But still they are more expensive, and FIO's FA7S, for example, they are more fun. They have more weight on the base and bit less energetic treble. There are a lot of other models, but can't recall them instantly, just few models like for the reference. And to summarize this all review, actually I can say that it's like one size fit all or like universal in ear monitors, but if you like refined and refined sound typical for the balanced armatures, it's a really great option to have, and I'm really glad that HiBy created this model. Thank you for, of course, a few words about the previous model. Of course, we have first generation of Crystal 6, and first generation of Crystal 6 is a bit more focused on the micro contrast, and it sound even more thin and drier. Here you'll get more sound closer to natural, and because of better weight distribution. And now, thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and of course, have a great day.